Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Hello, Middlers. Welcome to episode 198. 198. This is our second last episode of 2023. I was trying to decide if I should go to episode 200 in 2023 and go an extra week, or start 2024 with episode 200. So it just worked out that I decided to have next week be the last week of the podcast. Then we will be taking 3 weeks off while everyone has the holidays, the new year. We're all confused what day it is. And the podcast will be back January 10th, 2024 with episode 200. Now, I know 200 episodes probably doesn't mean much to you, the listeners, but it means so much to me. So that will be a whole special episode next year. But for this week's episode, I have a really fun conversation that I'm excited to share with the podcast listeners. I was chatting with a friend, Michelle, who is also a medium, and we decided to do a conversation where we kind of interview each other / chit chat / ask each other the same questions back and forth. And it turned into a really, really good conversation, but the plan was to share the conversation on both of our podcasts. So that is what I will be sharing today, is that conversation. First, I have some announcements, the last few announcements of the year, starting off with my Mentees in the Middle mentorship program. I host a one-on-one mentorship program that's 3 months long. I do it 3 times a year, and it will be starting again in January. So I just wrapped up a whole round, and it will be starting again in January. There's about 5 spots left. So if you are looking for a mentor in the Reiki, business, or mediumship realm, I would be happy to work with you. All the information is down on my website. I will leave the links down below, but we start January 9th or January 16th. You have an option of what week you want to start, and then we go for 3 months, so it ends in April. So it's really good if you need some support. You get 6 calls over the 12 weeks. We meet every other week. The application form is just to make sure I believe I can help you. You're somewhere where I know that my skills can assist you with what you need. So we'll be starting again in January and working together till April. Very, very exciting. Then I have my last meeting in the middle of the year, which is my famous goals workshop. This is a big favorite every year. So this year, the goals workshop is being held on December 30th from 1 to 3:30 p.m. It also includes the replay. So even if you can't make it live, you can still register and everyone will get the replay. The workshop is called From 2023 Milestones to 2024 Goals. We spend the first half of the workshop reviewing 2023. What'd you do? What'd you get up to? What'd you accomplish? And then we spend the next half looking forward at 2024. So this is my favorite time of year to do this workshop right before the new year hits. And something about the calendar new year of having a fresh start and just reflecting on what you get up to this year. We're always so busy and moving. So give yourself the gift of time to reflect on what you were up to and time to plan. And then my last announcement of the year is Reiki trainings for 2024 are live. So January, we have Reiki Level 1 on January 27th and 28th. And then if you are waiting for Reiki Level 2, January 13th and 14th. So those are your first trainings in 2024. I will leave all the links down below in the show notes for mentorship, the workshop, or Reiki trainings. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at Medium in the Middle. I share a lot of fun stuff over there, and there will be a lot more coming. Just a reminder, I only have one Instagram at Medium in the Middle. I'll leave it linked down below, but just beware of scammers. There's lots of scammers on the internet, and there's only one me, at Medium in the middle. So let's jump right into this week's episode. It is a conversation with the host of Spirit Scoop podcast, Michelle Lindsay. I have known Michelle for, I think, 3 or 4 years now. We were trying to figure it out on the podcast, but we have a lot of overlap in our lives. Michelle was actually one of my mentees. She took my Reiki courses. We were both in Danielle's Mediumship course many years ago. So it's really fun to kind of have these conversations and be able to talk to someone who we've been having a lot of similarities over the years. So this conversation was not supposed to be a mediumship conversation, but story of my life, we ended up talking a lot about mediumship. So I think you guys will really like this conversation. It is really fun and just nice to hear a little back and forth of like, how did it start for you? Oh yeah, this is how it started for me. Do you dream about this? Oh yeah, this is for me. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Well, this is fun. Hi, Michelle.
Hey.
We're on each other's podcasts.
I'm excited to jump in today and just have a conversation with you.
Yeah, it's always nice to be able to chat with friends and share the conversation. And I think it's cool because we have a lot of overlap and we have a lot of synchronicities, and we all love synchronicities. So maybe should we start with our stories, because obviously reflection is so 2020, and when you're in it, it doesn't feel so clear. But should we start at the beginning? You want to take it away? How did you come into your spiritual realm? When was the first experience for you? I'm interested to know.
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. No pressure. My first experience with spirit, I lost my mom at a very young age. So I was 7 years old. I was lucky to grow up with a father who was very open to this type of stuff. So at that young age, he was really open. He received a book, Talking to Heaven.
Yes, I have that book.
You have that book? Yeah. So he learned about spirit, how to connect with my mom, and he had all these spiritual experiences happen with him. So he was always telling me from a very young age, like, you can talk to your mom, you can talk to your mom.
Oh, what an amazing dad.
So I talked to her, but it's so hard when you don't have her talking back, right? Or understanding of how spirit communicates back. So I grew up from 7 years old, just always talking to spirit, talking to my mom. And I think that's the first step, right? In connecting with spirit. And for also whoever is listening is like, and you're thinking and asking how to connect with spirit, just start talking to them because they hear us. And it wasn't until my older years of like around 18 or 19, I went to my first medium. And he told me right away, he's like, your mother is here. And my heart started racing. It was a feeling I couldn't really describe. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's here. She's here. And because I didn't know, like, after talking to her for all these years, because I couldn't hear her back or understood how spirit communicated back. I didn't know if I was actually talking to her or if I was just talking to like a blank wall.
Yeah.
When he told me she was there, I was like, oh my gosh, it feels so real. And he asked me, have you seen your mom in spirit? And I said, no, I have never seen her and had never had a visitation. I didn't even know what that was. But now looking back, I'm like, no, I didn't have a visitation dream. Like I didn't see her. And he told me, well, all you have to do is ask. And I just looked at him like, what do you mean all I have to do is ask? Like, of course I probably asked her. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, did I ask her? And then that kind of got me thinking. I was like, how could he just make it sound so simple? And we had the whole reading. It was wonderful. And I go home that night. He sent me a recording to listen to it back. And I listened to it back and I was talking to her like I normally do. And as I was kind of zoning out, I had a TV in my bedroom and it was turned off. So imagining like a black TV screen, you know how it has like a reflection that's almost like a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was kind of like dazing off, I was glancing into this TV that was turned off. And About 5 to 7 seconds after glaring at this TV screen, I seen my mom appear as a reflection, but I could see her through the TV screen. She was sitting on the end of
Oh my gosh, I have full body goosebumps.
Yeah, it's always so fun coming back to this story because it was my first like, oh my gosh moment. But I seen her sitting at the end of my bed, and I was obviously at the head of the bed. So it was almost like she was just sitting there hanging out with me. So as soon as I saw her reflection, I quickly turned my face away and I was like, oh my gosh, this isn't real. Like, did I really just see that? It frightened me, right?
Mm.
So I kind of was like, okay, I'm gonna look again just to double check my facts because sometimes I can be like a skeptic to myself.
Yeah, we all want to double check.
So I double checked, I looked back, and she didn't appear until 5 to 7 seconds after. So when I looked back, she wasn't there right away, but as I
Mm.
gazed into the TV screen, she appeared again.
Wow.
She was in the same spot, but she looked just like her photos. Like she looked just like I remembered, her long black hair. She was wearing like regular clothing. Like she didn't look like an angel or like an orb. She looked like she was just like, how she did. And I was like, it was amazing, but also like it got my heart beating so fast. But ever since then, that was almost like like I feel like I definitely had a lot of awakenings in my life, but that was definitely one of them where it just awakened me and I had that validation, like that
Mm.
confirmation that all these years I was actually talking to her. And it
Wow.
really just like opened me up. And it felt like I was finally ready to see her. So that was my first like, oh my gosh moment. And
Yeah.
having that be my mom was like so special.
Wow. So from 7 to 18, were you just talking to your mom and just not receiving anything, being like, this is normal because my dad told me that I could do this?
Yeah, exactly. And like
Aw.
looking back, I'm sure there was ways that she was trying to communicate with,
Yeah, yeah.
but like if I only knew how spirit communicated, right? Then I think it would have been a lot different. But yeah, and then once I kind of like learned that, then that's when everything kind of transformed.
And then what made you go to the medium when you were 18? Like, was there something that pulled you?
Yeah, well, I think I've just because I grew up talking to her, my dad was so open to it. And there was like these TV shows online and I always thought, "Oh, that would be so cool." But I also was like, "Oh, I don't know." Like you go to the Playland, like the Peony in Vancouver and they have these like psychics there and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptic. So I'm like, "Okay, I really want to like find a medium who I know somebody went to that had a good experience." So a lady at my work, she was telling me about this guy and I was like, okay, I'll go. Like she's like, everything he said came true. And she's like, I went to him 20 years ago. I have this whole story on my podcast, Spirit Scoop, but I kind of go through my whole like journey of like, I labeled the episodes like 1 to 10. So I kind of want people to go in order, but then after that, they can kind of listen to it whenever they want. It was pretty crazy. I love that story, but definitely is like, it goes so much more to it.
Wow. Yeah, layers of it. That's so interesting. Your dad, wow, that's amazing that he was just like, this is how it is.
Yes. So I was very lucky to have him. What was your
Mm,
story? What was your first spirit story?
my first time. So my first time, and I didn't know it was spirit at the time. So probably similar to you, just like weird things started happening. You're younger, you don't know really what's going on. I was in my late 20s though when this happened. So I was the night before I was taking Reiki crystal healing class. So I'd taken my Reiki level 1 and my Reiki master teacher was like, "Oh, I do a crystal healing class." And we were like, "Cool, sign me up." So the next day I was going to do the class with her and I was laying in bed with my ex-fiance and you know when you're in between sleep and you're still awake, like you're conscious but you're not? And I just started like jabbering all of these things about his grandpa who had passed away before he was born, who he was named after. And he was like kind of entertaining it. And then he was like, Steph, go to bed. Like you're falling asleep. You don't know what you're talking about. And I kept asking him all these questions, and he was like, I don't know. I never met him. Like, what do you know this? And I was like, well, did he used to wear a brown hat? And what's going on? And I had all this like random information that was coming through. And I was like, he's moving glass window planes. Who's building a window? And he was like, go to bed. Anyway, so his brother was going to Italy the next day, and we thought it was like something to do with his brother going to Italy and the picture that I saw in my head. So when I woke up the next day, his like brother had sent me this picture of his grandpa wearing a brown hat, and he was like, "Is this the picture you saw?" And I was like, "No," but I was like, "Maybe you're just supposed to like bring it with you to Italy, like I don't know." Anyways, and then I went to this crystal healing class, and I thought that my Reiki master would have all the answers. So I was like, this weird thing happened last night, and I don't know what was going on. And she was kind of like, I don't know either. And I was like, oh, like, you don't know everything? And I think that's a common, like, now that I'm where I am now, I think that's a common misconception is that we know everything, and we do not. Um, yeah, I'm like, I don't know about astrology. I don't know about this. I don't like, I just know about what I know. So, yeah, she was like, "I don't know." She's like, "I do Reiki." She's like, "I don't do that stuff." So she pulled cards for me, and that was the first time anyone ever pulled cards for me. She's like, "It's a man. It's from the past." And I was like, "Yeah, I know that." She's like, "It's for your partner." And I was like, "Yeah, I know that." So anyways, then I was driving home, called my partner at the time, and I said to him like, "Meet me at your mom's house. The photo that I saw in my mind is in a shoebox at your mom's house." And he was like, "My mom's not home." I was like, "We have the key, like meet me there." And it just so happened that like the week prior to this, they were going through all these old photos because it was the anniversary of like their family business. So they were looking for old photos. So they had all of these old photos out already, like on her counter was shoe boxes of photos. And he was like, "How did you know this was here?" And I was like, "Don't ask questions, like start looking for the man in the brown hat." So anyways, we were going through boxes and boxes of photos, and every man with a brown hat and a checkered shirt, he would show me, "Is this him? No. Is this him? No." And then finally, like, he pulled up the photo, and I was like, "That's him. That's him. That's the guy that I saw in my dream." And we had to text people to figure out who was this man because he didn't know who it was. So it was very confusing at the start. And same thing, I have episodes on the podcast way, way, way back. Um, the first time I think was that podcast, but that's how it all started. And it was kind of confusing for a while. Like, I'm sure for you too, and we can talk about this. Like, it's not like the movies. You're not like, oh, cool, I'm a medium. Like, I'm Teresa Caputo now. Call CBC, get me like a TV show. Like you feel, I don't know, I felt really crazy. How did you feel at the start?
Like, it's funny because, yeah, it's like if you don't have the kind of like the background knowledge of like how spirit communicates, like signs and like what to look out for, it's like we can easily take it for our own feelings and not so much like spirit.
Yeah, and I knew nothing back then. Like I was just,
Yeah.
I always call them the muggles. I was a muggle.
Do you think that your clairvoyance came in first for you? Like, are you very visual when it comes to getting with spirit?
Ooh. Thinking back, I guess, yeah, that was probably the strongest. The way I used to describe it, it was like a movie in my head. So I would see some things, but it wasn't always clear. So like if someone was like 6'4" and really big, I could see that they were very tall and very big. If someone was short and round, I could see that they were short and round. But I couldn't always see like details of it. And I don't think I work that way as much now. Like I do get it sometimes, but it's like more of a knowing now. I'm just like, oh, there this, oh, this happened, oh, this. But I do still see, but probably not as much as I did at the beginning.
Okay. It's interesting that it's kind of started with dreams for you. But you said it was like kind of like sleeping.
Yeah, I was like in a awake state. I think it was just that unconscious mind.
Yeah. It's almost like that meditation state where it's like your human brain turns off enough.
Exactly. Do you remember the first spirit that you spoke to after your mom?
It's interesting because I created such strong boundaries early on.
Which is hard, which is hard. Good job.
Yeah, I've had the experience with my mom, but I didn't understand of how like spirit would talk back. Like I didn't hear it with, usually it's like transfer of thought, right? And I always imagined it like you would hear them as if me and you were speaking with your like, what is it, like your outside hearing rather than like your inside hearing. So I didn't know what to look for. I never really heard spirit back, but I did create some strong boundaries with spirit because there was like an earthbound that came to my house that I didn't love their energy. So I learned those boundaries then. And now that I look back on it, there was like that gap of like not seeing spirit, not seeing them, not dreaming about them. There was that gap. But it wasn't until like I found my mentor, the Squamish medium, where she taught like how to work with your clairs and how spirit communicates. So it wasn't until I actually did like a practice session once like I took the class and I learned, as soon as I kind of tuned in, that's when I would say that I was aware of how spirit communicated. So I was able to have more of a conversation, like back and forth, rather than just like a one-sided conversation.
Yeah, and this is where our paths cross because it was through that group that I was also taking Danielle's initiation. Was I in the round before you or after you?
I think you were right before me. Yeah.
Yeah, is that's how we kind of crossed our paths, and it was really interesting because that was 4 years ago, was it?
Yeah, I think mine was like three-ish, 3.5 or something, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah. I always remember time based on like what house I was in and
Mhm.
what was going on. But that course was like a really big opener because we had to practice so much.
Yeah.
And every week you had 2 practice sessions and it was just like go ahead and everyone was like, "Well, I don't know what we're doing." And it was like, "Well, neither do we." So
Totally. It's like that comfort area of like, what did Danielle say? She's like, honestly, if nothing happens the whole time that you're practicing, that's okay. Or if you only sense like one thing, that's okay. I think it's about, like for me, I had to like re-invite spirit to come into my life. Like, okay, guys, now I'm taking down the walls that I built that I didn't even realize of how like strong the walls were.
Mhm.
And now I'm like, okay, guys, it's okay. You can come back in.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing for us to talk about because now we both teach this stuff and we help other people through different avenues, but the biggest thing that I'm always trying to tell people is like you can have boundaries and spirit will always come back. They're like, someone who's obsessed with you that will never leave you alone. Like you can have boundaries and when you're ready to talk to them, they'll be there. Like you can tell them no and when they're ready, they'll be there. So I always like to use the analogy of like a phone call. Like you can hang up the phone and they'll still call back tomorrow or like you can not talk to them all day every day, but when you pick up the phone, they're still there. So it's just like that reminder that whenever we want to take down the boundaries, that's okay. And you can put up boundaries and it's okay.
Totally.
But that brings me to like, I don't know, I get asked about fear a lot. So I always think like, was I afraid at the beginning? And I think I felt more like scared of being crazy more than like scared of spirit. Do you like remember your fear at the beginning? Did you have fear? Were you afraid at all?
That's such a good question. Yes, I was fearful. There's definitely stories where I'm like, I was scared the crap out of me.
Oh yeah, like spirit would scare you?
Well, just not expecting it, and just
Yeah, like
like
out of
it's all
nowhere.
new, right? And you're wondering what the heck is happening. I didn't so much think I was crazy because I kind of trusted what I seen.
Mm.
But if I would tell it to other people, then they're like, "What?" So I was really like careful of who I shared it with. But that's so interesting that you like were never really fearful. Did you find that did you have a close circle that you could share these experiences with?
No. I I think it was so overwhelming. Like, you have to think about it. I'm sure everyone listening to this on both of our podcasts are probably spiritual people, maybe you're a medium as well. But, like, I was a CrossFit coach, I was working at Lululemon, I I wasn't really into spirituality, I wouldn't say, like, I, liked it, but I wasn't, like, super into it. So when it first started happening, I just remember I'd be like coaching a class and I'd be like, hello, everybody, like 4 p.m. class. And they're like, hey, Steph, how are you? And I would just like dead stare them and be like, I think I can talk to the dead. How are you? And they're like, yeah, good. So we're doing thrusters today or like whatever. But it was like so all consuming. I feel like I just blurted it out to anyone because I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to talk to. I was just like waiting for someone to say something and everyone's like, oh, cool. Like half the answers were like, okay, cool. So the weather. And then like the other half of the answers were like, no way, what's happening? And it was just like that search for answers at the beginning, which is why like there's so many more resources now. I feel like people are really coming out of the spiritual closet, but I don't know if I just didn't know where to look, but I was like, am I the only one in the world that can do this? Like, am I all alone? And I think that was scarier than spirit. I was like, yeah, cool. Like Joe's here, but like, what's going on with me?
Wow. Yeah, totally. Like, I feel like there was like that only one book, Talking to Heaven, that I knew about.
Yeah. And back in the day, it was just Danielle's podcast. Like, I can't think of any other podcast at the
Yeah.
time.
Like, I don't know if it's because like of pages that I'm following, but now I feel
Yeah.
like everywhere I look, there's like so much resources. But same with me, like, because are you born in, is it 1990 or 91?
89. I'm an 80s baby.
Okay. I'm 91, so I'm not too far back,
Yeah.
but we kind of grew up around the same period of like for that medium that I even found, like I found it through somebody. Like, 'cause I feel like that's how you would find people.
Yeah. Same thing. Like, my cousins used to go to mediums, but like, I never went to a medium. I never went to a psychic. I guess I was afraid. I was always afraid of what they would tell me because I'm like a I don't want to know type of person.
Oh,
Ooh, I love to ask this question to people. Do you want to know when you're going to die?
I'm the opposite. I want to know everything.
Yeah, see, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know anything at all.
Craziest thing is that I don't know, like, obviously the year that I'm going to die, but I do have like past life memories of coming into this lifetime and creating my soul contract of what people would call it. And I know that I'm going to live a long life, and I do have an idea. I do know how I'm going to pass. Not an idea. I do know.
Oh, you do?
I won't say it, and I won't tell anybody in my family or friends or anything. But it is something that I am aware of, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I guess same thing. I am aware of a year that I'm going to die. I don't. Well, actually, I should say a number. So I don't know if the number is my age or the year. That's the only thing. But I have a good idea. Same thing. I know I'm going to live a long life, but I don't think I'm going to live to be like 90. So I have like some information, but I'm a like I don't want to know. Like if you were going to tell me like when I'm going to meet my husband, I don't want to know. If you were going to tell me what I'm going to be in 10 years, I don't want to know. If you're going to tell me I'm moving, I don't want to like I don't want to know anything. I don't want to know anything.
Are you somebody that like typically likes surprises?
No, I hate surprises. I hate surprises. Yeah, which is interesting because you think I would want to know. I think just like knowing would make me anxious.
Well, I'm the opposite. I love surprises, but when it comes to my life, I want to know everything, every detail.
Oh, interesting.
How did that come to you? Like the number,
Interesting.
were you meditating on it, or were you like, I wonder how that came to you?
I think it was a conversation that I was having, I think with a medium named Brie or another medium. And we were talking about like, would you want to know when you're going to die? And the other person was like, yes.
Mm.
And I was like, no. And then I think I was thinking of it. And I just keep thinking like, do I want to know that? Like, do I want to know that? And I think like, even for like loved ones in my family, I want to know when they're going to pass like a warning. I don't want to know like it's tomorrow. I want to know like this is going to be the last time you see them. Call them and tell them. So like it has happened to me not the last time I went home but the time before. I just knew my uncle was going to pass and I wouldn't normally go to visit him. Like he's not someone that I would visit every single time, but like I'd see him around at family gatherings and things like that. And I was just like, no, I need to go see him. Like, this is going to be the last time I see him. They just got a new house and all these things. So I like went to go see him and I just like knew it was going to be the last time. And then when he passed, like a few months later, I was like, yeah, I know, like, because I knew this was coming. So like it was kind of like the comfort of, I know this is coming, but I don't know what's going to be like tomorrow. So when they called and told me he was in the hospital, I kind of said to my family, I was like, he's not leaving the hospital. Like, everyone go say bye.
Mm.
But my family doesn't really believe, not that they don't believe, no, they don't believe me. So they were like, yeah, Steph. I was like, don't go tell everyone this. Obviously, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but he's not leaving the hospital. And my cousins still to this day will say, we didn't know he wasn't going to come out. And I was like, no, I was saying it, but yeah, I said, everyone get to the hospital now.
Yeah, you're like, I was saying it, but I had the exact same thing happen just 2 months ago with my grandmother. Because we were just talking about like, because my partner's never met her. She lives in Ontario. And I was like, we should go visit her and plan a trip around it and go to Toronto and do the sightseeing. And then he wanted to go like next year. And I was like, no, I don't think so. It's like, it's not looking good. Like, we got to go now. And then she actually came to me in a dream. And the dream was me surprising her and then seeing her like
Yeah.
not being as healthy as I thought. And the whole dream, there was obviously more to it, but I was like, okay, we're booking a flight. And it was nice to kind of get like a little bit of a warning, because she's all the way in Toronto. We had to book a flight.
Because you saw her right before she passed, right?
Yeah, like a week before. But it was nice to kind of have a heads up because I feel like she visited me in the dream to kind of let me know.
Yeah. I had that recently as well, but with my ex-fiance, his one grandma, we were like really, really close. And probably about like once a year, I would think about her and I'd be like, I just wish I could see her again or like call her or like, you just get close with grandmas. And then there was like a week where I was dreaming about her and now I know she was coming to say goodbye. I made a podcast episode about this. And I was like Googling her obituary and I was like, is she dead? And I felt crazy again because I was just Googling her name and like seeing if she was passed. And then a week later, sure enough, my dad messaged me and he's like, did you hear that like so and so's grandma's passed? And I was like, I knew it because she came to say goodbye a week ago. And I haven't talked to him in 5 years, So it's like, I like those things. It's like, give me a warning, come say
Yeah.
goodbye, but don't tell me it's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah, you need more notice than that.
Yeah. I don't want to know if it's tomorrow.
No, I think it's interesting too, is like when you start to think about people, you're like, why am I thinking about them? It's like there's obviously like that some connection of like, okay, I'm thinking about them for some reason. When you thought about her, was she already passed at that moment?
Well, I dreamt about her and I dreamt about her, I think 2 or 3 times. And I remember like the one time I dreamt about her, I like woke up happy. The next time I dreamt about her, I woke up like knowing that she was passed. And then the third time it kind of felt like a goodbye, like she's in heaven type of thing. So when I found out a week later that she was passed, I couldn't remember the day of my dream, which is why I say write everything down. But I was like, I wonder if I dreamt about her the day that she died because it was a week ago and I just couldn't remember like was the dream on Wednesday, was the dream on Thursday. I just know it was like a week ago that I dreamt about her. And when I found out she had died, it had been at least a week.
Did it feel like a visitation dream and if not, have you had a visitation dream?
Yes and yes. So that one did definitely feel like a goodbye. Like when I found out she died, I was like she was coming to say goodbye. So I was like it kind of reinforced like the relationship that we had. Like I knew she was special, she knew I was special. She knew that, once we were broken up, I like, um but yeah, I do get visitations in my dreams often. And I had to put a big boundary on it because I like sleep and I like rest and I like waking up rested. So spirit's not allowed to come in my dreams. So now if I have dreams, they're usually very psychic and like future stuff. And it's like important. Like I've woken up from a dream and been like, oh my God, my friend's in the hospital and like called them and they're like, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, I had a dream about you. So if I have a dream about something, it's usually very urgent. But what about you? Do you get a lot of dream visitations? Do you like that or not?
Oh yeah, I love the dream world.
Oh,
But
okay. I love rest.
I love sleep as well, but I like to go on an adventure when I sleep. But that was the first visitation actually I've ever had, which was with my grandmother. Like I still to this day, I'm just trying to think, did I just have one? No.
And did you with clients at all though?
No.
Oh, see, I get it a lot for clients. Like if I'm gonna see you tomorrow, yeah, they'll come in my dreams tonight.
Oh, that's cool. I used to have earthbounds come into my dreams back in the day, when kind of early in my development, and they would show me how they passed, but then I wasn't tuned in. I didn't know, right? That was still my stage where what the heck is happening? So I didn't know, like, I wasn't passing messages along to other people. I didn't recognize these people that were
Yeah.
coming into my dreams. So now looking back, I was like, why did they come to me? But I guess my light was shining on, and they're like, okay, it's dark. We want to find somebody with the light. So I think I was just the only one kind of maybe around the area.
I'm the only one listening, so they're gonna tell me. Yeah, I always explain it like the hole in the balloon. I'm like, we're the hole in the balloon, so all the air is gonna go to the hole. Why us? I don't know. We're just like the access point.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask, have you ever astral traveled, as we're on the dream subject?
So I don't recall, but I get messages all the time from my friends and from my students that will say that I was in their dreams and I was helping them, or that I'm astro traveling and doing things for them at night, like Reiki healings and stuff.
Oh,
I have one client that I see in person that is like, you helped me in my dream. You did this. You did this. Do you remember doing this? And I have no awareness of it. So I've had like a few people are very adamant that I astro travel to them, and I don't have any memory, or I don't know what's going on. So I've been told, but I'm not aware of it.
I'm pretty sure you've been in my dream many times, and
Yeah.
I
I know.
haven't told you, but yeah, you visit me all the time too.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I sleep when I sleep. So, but what about you? Do you find like that you astro travel and you're aware of it?
Not lately, not recently, but back in the day, I remember. I think it started maybe around my mom passed, but 7, 8, 9. I feel like I remember astral traveling. I have this really cool story of meeting Archangel Michael, which was really cool. Yeah, so that's a whole episode
All
there. But
right. You talk about that on your podcast
I just wish I knew what I knew nowadays. I wish I knew it back then.
now. Yeah.
Everything would kind of make more sense, but I would kind of wake up from it in the morning, but I felt like I lived like a double life, like I'm somewhere when I'm sleeping and somewhere when I'm awake. And I always just took it as like
Mm.
whatever happened when I was sleeping, it's not real life. And I would just kind of like push it away. And then I would be like, no, like me in my everyday, this is real life. Like I was almost like it would play tricks with my mind. And I never really told anybody, because I was like, no, I'm just making this up. It's probably just a dream, but it really felt so real. And it was like something that I couldn't explain. I couldn't make any sense of it. So I just like kept pushing it away and kind of ignoring it. But now I would love to have it more, but I used to lucid dream. That was really fun.
Oh, wow.
But I don't have any wild dreams anymore, but I wish. I got these like crystals in my room. I'm like, what will help me like have some mild dream experiences, because I do miss those.
Oh, see, I don't like it, and I've been finding I've been dreaming more now, and I dream more around Reiki trainings. So, if I teach Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday night, it's usually just gibberish, like it's never really anything, but it's very vivid, and I think it's just the energy of my students, because I'm probably like opening up to them and holding space for them. But I'm always like I never sleep well on the Friday or the Saturday, because I just feel like I'm so active in my dreams.
Uh,
So, yeah, it's really interesting. Do you feel rested then when you wake up, or do you feel
no, I wouldn't.
yeah,
So maybe that's why things shifted. Spirit's like, okay, we'll give you your sleep back.
yeah, spirit's like you need rest.
It's funny how like things just change, and it's like, well, through this time zone, I was getting a lot of this, and this, I was getting a lot of this, and it's just like, yeah, it's interesting to see how we evolve over time, for sure.
Yeah. I know, even like your question of like, "Oh, like did you see more?" I was like, "Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, at the beginning I did see a lot." Like now I don't think I get it as clearly as that. It comes in different ways. And I don't think it's like a good or a bad thing. I think it's just evolution. Like
Yeah,
this is what you needed then, this is what you need now. Sometimes you need to dream, sometimes you don't.
yeah.
So,
What about clairaudience? That's like the one clair I'm like, bring me more, spirit.
I I don't hear a lot. I sometimes I'll like quote unquote hear things repeating. So it'll feel like something's like repeating in my head. Like with names and stuff, I won't get the names, but I'll be like, "Oh, I'm hearing like it ends in ah." or it's a short 3-letter name. Like I'll hear things like that, but it's not very clear. I'll just hear a teeny tiny bit. And same thing, it's not really outside of me. Like I don't hear it like I hear you right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I'm just hearing that their name ended in ah. Was it Amanda? Was it Alana? Was it, I don't know. I just heard the ah.
Oh.
So I don't have that very strong.
Have you ever heard spirit with your outside hearing?
Yes, once, and it was so scary. I was sleeping, and this was also the only time I've ever like seen spirit in the like, I won't say in the flesh, but like seen spirit. I was sleeping, and I had a roommate at the time, and she was this short little tiny girl, my roommate. And I was sleeping with my back facing the door, and I heard Steph. And it sounded like she was yelling my name, and I just ignored her. And then I heard Steph. And then I rolled over, and my door was open, and there was a small little person standing in there. And they were saying, Steph. And I said out loud, I was like, what do you want? And I was like, why is my roommate in my room? And then the spirit was just saying, Steph. And then it took me like blink, blink, blink. And I was like, my roommate doesn't have hair like that. My roommate doesn't look like that. And then I like rubbed my eyes, staring. And I was like, and realizing it's a ghost. And I just started being like, no, no, no. And I was like, go away. I was like setting all my boundaries. And I was like, go away. But that was like the first time ever that I heard them yell my name. I've heard my name a few more times. Like they'll yell Steph, but it's very rare. Like I think it's happened maybe 3 times total.
How old were you when that happened?
28, 28, 29, 20.
That's interesting that you've heard them come in just saying your name.
Yeah, they say my name to get my attention. What do you hear? Do you?
I just had an experience like last week. I was cleaning somebody's house. I get a lot of downloads.
Yeah.
I do have a cleaning business, so sometimes I'm on the job. But I was listening to your podcast. Which one was it? It was Why You Don't Do Mediumship Readings podcast. So I was listening to that one. And then towards the end, there wasn't anybody home. There was just me, the other cleaner. And the lady was supposed to come home a little bit later. And so I heard a hello. I thought she was coming in the door. And I heard it at a distance. And I was like cleaning one of the rooms. And I was like, okay, well, the other cleaner is like, in that area. So she'll say hello. And when I come out, I'll kind of say hi. So I didn't respond. And then I come out and I asked the other cleaner, I said, oh, did the client come home? And she says, no. And I was like, what do you mean? I thought I heard her come through the back door saying hello. And it's her voice. It sounded like exactly like the client's voice.
Was it the client's mom?
Yes, it was the client's mom.
Yeah, I'm like,
Long story short. And then I was like, that is so weird. So I was like, maybe she's downstairs because it was a big house. Anyways, we searched the house top to bottom. Nobody came home. And then as we were leaving, the other cleaner was like, this is so weird. The downstairs light is on. So she's like, did the lady come home? And I said, no. And she's like, because I remember going up that stairway and it was dark because I turned the light off. So she's like, I ran up the dark stairway. Now the light's back on. And she goes down. Nobody's home. The light's back on. Like I heard hello, but that was really cool.
Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Yeah, I've never heard hello. I've only names, I think.
It was interesting. Yeah. Then I kind of was like tuning in. I was like, okay, what is the message here? And then I was able to pass the message along to the woman.
Her mom was saying hello.
And I was like, do you guys have did anyone ever say that you guys have like a very similar voice? And she's like, yep, I look exactly like my mom and we sound the exact same. Because I'm like, it was exactly your voice, like nobody else.
Wow. That's cool that you can pick that up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As I was like, spirit's telling me to okay, maybe don't offer mediumship right now. Take a little bit of a break. And then I started to hear spirit coming through stronger. I'm like, okay.
That always happens. They're like, yeah, good try. Here we are.
And I was like, is this a lesson? When you kind of surrender and then you just kind of let spirit come through of how they want to.
Yeah. Well, I think that's too my favorite part about mediumship is when they just sneak in like that and you're like, yes, amazing. This was beautiful. It was magical. And it just happened. Even this, when we were talking about this podcast, we're like, we won't focus on mediumship. And it's been our entire conversation. It's always, whatever's meant to happen, whatever we're meant to talk about,
Totally.
they'll sneak in.
I think it was that line that you said in the podcast, you're like, about not losing magic. Like once you start doing mediumship work, it becomes a job. And I kept thinking about the magic, the magic, the magic. And then they came through and I was like, it felt so magical.
You're like, this is the magic. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, and you think like, I don't know, I never get sick now of hearing mediumship stories. Like when you were telling that story at the beginning about your mom, like I still get full body goosebumps. I'm still like, oh my God, no way that happened. Like it still feels so surreal, and you think you'd get used to it, but you don't. I just don't want it to be a job, but I don't want to get used to it either.
I know. I'd love to
Yeah.
talk about Reiki a little bit.
Yeah.
With like your journey, because when I think of Steph, I think of you having this beautiful Reiki empire with the most amazing Reiki classes. So I wonder
Thank you.
like how you got into that, how you have scaled your business, like how many students did you start with, how many are you at today, and just kind of just briefly of how like you got into it and how things have changed.
Yeah. A Reiki empire. It feels that way though now. It's definitely been years in the making. I started, I guess I can remember like going back to when I took my Reiki masters, and they kind of teach you like you need to start teaching, like this is the point of Reiki masters, and I was like, "Oh, I won't be teaching for years." And I remember my like master looking at me and she's like, "No, like you'll be teaching sooner than you think." And I was like, haha, like LOL, what did she doesn't know. And I was teaching soon. Like I think I was teaching within 8 months. And I started shadowing other I had a Reiki master that let me teach with her. And then I just shadowed and then I taught with her and then we did it together. And then the pandemic happened. So then I started teaching online. And I started with 4 people and then 6 people and then 8 people. And I tested it all the way up to 13. And I was like, 13 is too much. So now I have 11 students per class. And it's just been so popular, and people have been excited to learn Reiki, which makes my heart so happy. So they've just started filling up, and I'd add another one, and it'd fill up, and I'd add another one, and I'd fill up. And I love business. And I'm like, oh, there's a demand. So I'm going to keep supplying for the demand. And this is my 4th year of doing 2 Reiki trainings a month, every single month.
Wow,
January to December.
that's amazing.
It's a lot of Reiki. Yeah, last year I did 22 courses. I haven't counted this year yet. I think this year will be I'll end with 74 courses total.
Wow, I love
Thank
that.
you. Yes, and you took my Reiki course, which was,
I
yeah,
did.
we have so much overlap and synchronicities together. And now you offer Reiki.
Yes. I started with another teacher and I took level 1 and I didn't feel like aligned. I didn't know what it was. I was just kind of like, okay, well, I know there's level 2 and I didn't really feel like I wanted to look for somebody else. And then I came upon you and I was like, and then I ended up doing level 1 again. Because I think I started with Holy Fire.
Oh, you did.
Yeah. But I was really more focused on like the teacher, like finding the teacher for me, which
Yeah.
is a good
PSA, everyone, you have to find your teacher. Yeah, it's very important.
for sure. So I really resonated with you. You said that a lot of people like will take a class and then they come to you and be like, I had this bad experience, but I'm so happy I found you. What do you think it is about the way that you teach Reiki or the way that you set up your courses is kind of different from what you've heard from other people?
Oh, good question, Michelle. Yes, I do have a lot of people relearn with me. Ooh, what's the difference? I would say I don't cut any corners, and the goal of all my courses is to make my students feel as confident as possible by the end of it. And I want you to leave with 0 questions. I want you to still maybe not know what you're doing, but you have all the information. Still maybe not feel super confident, but you have everything you need to know. And I felt like I don't know, and I can speak to the courses that I've taken. I've had to figure out a lot of things on my own. So, for example, like boundaries and clearing. We
Mhm.
weren't taught that in my Reiki course. So I'm like, no, 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 we're learning about that. And I'm going to share with you everything I learned in a year and a half that took me a year and a half to figure out. I'm just going to tell you in the course. Like all these things that are now very helpful for me working in Reiki, I'm just going to tell you now so that you don't have to go spend 2 years learning it. So I feel like I'm lucky because Reiki is my full-time job. I do a lot of it. I do a lot of distance Reiki as well, which a lot of people are uncomfortable with. I'm like, that's literally my full-time job. So I'm comfortable teaching it. I have you practice it. I throw you right into it. And because I teach the courses so often, I tweak them and I make them better every single time. I'm like, oh, this didn't work last time. We're doing it different this time. Ooh, that worked perfectly. Oh, okay, now we're going to switch this. Ooh, I should add this to the course. Ooh, someone asked this question. I'm going to add that to the course. Ooh, I didn't explain that very well. I'm going to fix that. Oh, someone had 4 questions about that. That means I did a bad job. I'm going to fix that. So just like I've taught this class 75 times, and I've so passionate about it. I do it often that I like even people do, so now when I teach the courses, my last course finished like 10 minutes early because no one had any questions. And I was like, this is good because this means that I've answered everything you could possibly think of. Like if 11 people don't have any questions. So sometimes I'll just rattle things off. I'll be like, oh, okay, you guys don't seem to be asking any questions. Sometimes people ask this or sometimes people ask this. But now I've included so much of that in the courses that I don't have there's nothing missing. And I'm available to you so that you can always ask me questions if anything comes up. Like, I don't know. I view it as setting other people up for success, not just to make a quick buck. Like, if I wanted to make more money, I could just, not cap my courses at 11 students. But it's not about that. It's actually about making you feel confident. And I think your teacher also has to be confident. And because I have so much experience, I have a lot of examples. I have a lot of what ifs, how abouts, what do you do if this? What if this happens? I'm like, let me tell you because that's all happened to me.
Yeah, your courses are jam-packed. I think it's from the time I took it, I think it was 8 hours for 2 days in a row, like Saturday 8 hours, Sunday 8 hours.
Yeah. Well, it's split. So it's 4.5 hours on the first day, 4.5 hours on the second day. So yeah, it's total. But yeah, some Reiki courses are 6 hours, some Reiki courses are 3 hours, some Reiki courses are, it's just so
Mhm.
inconsistent, which is the hard part. So you really have to know your teacher, like them, like how they do Reiki. You have to are they doing Reiki full time? Do they do Reiki for work? Have they been in the Reiki business for 6 months, for a year? That's all really important.
Yeah, that experience of actually working in the field is super important.
Yeah, which is why I'll never give it up because that keeps me grounded in my teachings.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, I always recommend everybody to your courses. They are amazing. And I like how,
Mm.
yeah, you're there for questions, even like before, during, and after the course. It's like always ongoing support.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important because Reiki, we don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, we could share things that could save people years. Like, I always go back and think of when you remember, you just said the story, but I remember too, when someone says you can talk back to spirit, you're like, what? Like, mind blown. Like, what do you mean I can just ask them? What do you mean I can ask them to show up? What do you mean I
Mhm.
can ask them who they're for? What do you mean? It's just so so I feel like with Reiki, I have so many of those things where I'm like, let me just save you a lot of time right now.
Mhm. I love that. I've been recently adding Reiki into my sound bowl healings, like meditations. And
Ooh.
that is like such a nice tool to finish off your meditation with. Like, just I find that people just at that point, they're just floating in the clouds, after
Yeah.
Reiki. It's so beautiful. And I love that you can kind of bring Reiki into a lot of different areas.
Yeah. I know it's beautiful. Okay, before we wrap up, I just have to know. So, what's your favorite part of the bowls? Because I know you've been doing a lot of healings online and you've been doing a lot of the sound bath work. If you were to pick one thing that's ooh, this is what makes it so special, what would you say?
Ooh, I love the bowls. I can't say enough good things. I love them. I think the first thing that comes to mind is for those who kind of have a harder time, like, getting into a meditation state with, like, sometimes it's hard to turn off your mind, right? I find that the bowls just take you, like, your meditation that much deeper, rather than focusing on your thoughts. Like, you're just focusing on listening to
Yeah.
the frequency of the bowls, and the fact that the bowls are aligned to each and every chakra. Like, a lot of people can feel, like, the waves of the sounds, like, moving through their actual bodies, because they're working with your chakra system. So when they say it's like a sound bath, like, you're being bathed in, like, a beautiful, like, bubble of sound, like, I imagine, of just, like, waves going through your body, head to toe.
Yeah. I resonate with that. I like the way you just said that because I'm not a good meditator, I would say. Like I like to clean if I meditate, but I recently went to a sound bath and I was floating the whole time. It was an hour and a half. I was like, it
Yeah.
was 5 minutes. So I find it's really nice, like for, like you said, people who have a hard time dropping in. You're just so in the sound. It's beautiful.
An hour is like 10 minutes, and people are like, "Oh." I'm like, I gotta start doing 2-hour sessions."
Oh, time doesn't exist. That's a whole other podcast.
I love it also because, like, the sound bowls, like, you don't have to do any work. Like, people think, like, "Oh, what do I have to do when I go to a sound bath?" It's like, all you have to do is just lay there and be open to listening. All you have to do is listen.
Yeah. Oh, you could do it for hours and it would still feel so fast. Yeah, and then when you're playing it, do you, like, just flow with your intuition?
I invite, like, the angels to come in nice and close. I invite my spirit guides to influence the session. So yeah, it's mostly just intuition for sure. You'll have to come to a sound bath one of these days, because I have a lot of people online, like my
Nice.
audience, they're online, but I also have some people in person. So I'm kind of doing, like, a balance of online and in person sound baths. They are available, yeah, online if you guys aren't located in Vancouver, and if you are in Vancouver, then I do in person as well. My friend Bree and I, we usually do like a new moon and a full moon event where she talks about, like, the astrology and, like, what's happening kind of in the astrology world, and, like, how to work the energies. And then for the last half, I'll do, like, a sound bath meditation, so you can kind of take what you learned from the first half and bring that into, like, your meditation, which is, like, such a nice balance. So yeah, there'll definitely be lots of events that you can come to in the future.
I know I gotta make it to an online one. Sometime soon, the schedules will align. So this was so fun. I know we could probably talk for hours, but should we each say where we're from? So if people want to follow you listening to mine, where can they find you, Michelle?
Yes, I'm from Vancouver, BC. I spend a lot of time on my Instagram. So Soul Connections with Michelle. And then I have the link to my podcast, Spirit Scoop, on there, and my website. And yeah, feel free, if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to DM me or anything like that. I'm always open.
Yeah, and you do in-person stuff in BC too. So if anyone is in the area, I'll leave all her links down below in the show notes when I post this on Medium in the Middle.
Yeah, and I'll do the
Um,
same for you. But yeah, I do in person for Reiki, distance Reiki. I pretty much do, I think mostly everything is like half in person, half online these days. So it's accessible for anybody, wherever you are in the world.
Same.
How about you? Yeah, where can people find you?
I am Medium in the Middle, my Medium in the Middle podcast at Medium in the Middle on Instagram, themediuminthemiddle.com for all my offerings. Same as Michelle, everything is offered in person or virtually. I am in Banff, Alberta. So it's fun if you're ever in the area, come say hello. But thank you for having me on your podcast. This was a nice little swap. Hopefully, the listeners enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me on yours. This was fun. This was actually my first podcast interview ever.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
You did great. You did great.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that was so fun. I love re listening to that conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like Michelle and you want to listen to more of her, go check out her podcast, Spirit Scoop. She tells much more of her story over there. If you haven't already, please leave both of our podcasts a rating and a review. It really helps us grow. As a reminder, I will leave all the links you need down below for mentorship, the workshop, the December goals workshop, or the January Reiki trainings. Next week will be the last podcast of the year. So for the second last time in 2023, I will see you in your ears next Wednesday, Midlers. Thank you for listening. I hope you all have a great week. Bye, everybody.